Hey James.
Yo, what's up? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, yep. Ready to talk some UFC?
Sweet.
Sweet, cool. Yeah, so for anyone who's watching this video, just a bit of an intro. We're a couple of dudes in Hong Kong, MMA fanatics. And in January, we launched a fantasy app, which is gaining a little bit of steam. So we picked up our first 1,000 users in January. So that was a good 3 weeks. Got banned from Reddit. Had a Conor McGregor card. Crowned some champs in our public groups. And we're going to start doing preview videos like this, recapping the leaderboard every week, every month. So yeah, first one, UFC 258. Back in Vegas, Usman versus Burns, teammates. There's been enough kind of said about that. So what we're doing in this video is we've just looked through all the picks that people have been making in the past week. We're just looking for anything that's a little odd. So we've actually, Michael, you've highlighted 3 fights that stand out where the consensus of the picks that the users are making is kind of against Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so you and I are going to talk about 3 particular fights where I think the odds are shifting and been shifting towards the underdogs over the last couple of weeks since the lines have been out. We're going to look at those fights. We're going to talk about why we think our users are shifting in that direction and kind of basically give our predictions for the fights.
Sweet, let's do it.
Let's do it. So let's jump into, here we go. Okay. So we're calling these our Fanatics favorites for UFC 258. And starting off the bunch, we're going to take a look at Maycee Barber versus Alexa Grasso. Maycee Barber is currently sitting at a plus 110, in some places plus 105, against Alexa Grasso, who is sitting at minus 125. Now, for those of you that don't get gambling, basically a $100 bet on Maycee Barber would pay you back $110. And to win $100 on Alexa Grasso, you have to bet 125. Now, what's interesting about this fight, and we'll jump into it right now. Now, Maycee Barber is the underdog in this fight, but 66% of our users are picking her. Now, why is this? James, what do you think about Maycee Barber?
Well, I guess my last memory of her is the loss.
Right.
But there was an injury in that fight, right?
Yeah. So her last fight was with Roxanne Modafferi in the, when was it? I think it was 2019. No, she fought in 2020 January, so just over a year ago, and she dropped the decision to Roxanne. Maycee Barber's kind of a prospect at 125. She got really heavy hands. She's very powerful, very aggressive, and very young. She's one of the youngest fighters in the UFC. She's only 22 years old. She's got a 9-fight record, and she's 8-1 in those fights. Out of all of that, she's got an 88% finishing rate, and she's won out of her last 6 fights. She's TKO'd them, which I think we both recognize is really, really rare for a UFC women's flyweight. And I first noticed that 66% of our users were picking Maycee, gave me an inclination that, well, this is an underdog to look out for. Yeah. We've had our user base pick underdogs in the past heavily, and them coming out ahead. I like to think that our user base is very savvy when it comes to MMA, and this is definitely a solid pick. Alexa Grasso is a very good, young, tough fighter, but I think she lacks defensive acumen when it comes to boxing, particularly, and I think she's going to get pieced up by Maycee Barber. So Maycee Barber is definitely a good pick for an underdog, and she is our first Fanatics favorite, and I am picking Maycee Barber to win by TKO. I'm thinking second round.
Nice. Yeah, I guess that those Vegas odds might be representative of almost like screen time. I guess Grasso's, how long she's been in the UFC now? A few years, and she had a bit of a push. I guess they wanted her to be the next big thing. She didn't quite follow through with that. But maybe it's a familiarity thing, and that's why she's the favorite.
Yeah, and I also think it's a recency sort of bias. Alexa Grasso's coming off losses to Carla Esparza, and she just won her last fight against Ji Yoon Kim in August of 2020. That was her flyweight debut, apparently. So I imagine she was fighting at atomweight. Not atomweight. Atomweight before that. 105? No. Feather, fly. Anyway, she was fighting at 115 before, I imagine, and now she's stepped up to 125.
Okay.
I don't think she's powerful enough to deal with Macy, and I think Macy's going to run right through her. So this is a solid underdog pick, in my opinion. Should we move on to the next fight?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So the next fight we're looking at, which is an even bigger underdog, is Polyana Viana against Mallory Martin. Polyana is sitting at plus 125 currently, and Mallory Martin's sitting at minus 155. Now, by the numbers, currently, we have 77% of our users picking Polyana. Why? Why such a massive odds discrepancy? I'm not quite sure. But from what I can gather, I watched Mallory Martin's last fight. It was a rough fight for her. She got hurt pretty bad. She got dropped and managed to rally in the second round and get a submission. She did that against Hannah Cifers, who is really tough. And I'm pretty sure Hannah Cifers has beaten Polyana Viana before in 2019. In 2019. So I can see why Mallory Martin is the odds-on favorite, but I think the reason why our users are picking her is for a few reasons. One is the reach advantage. Polyana's 4 inches taller. Has a 4-inch reach advantage. Overall, I think she has better Muay Thai. She definitely has better BJJ, and she's an all-around badass. This is the girl, James, I don't know if you remember, this is the girl that got robbed in Brazil and beat the shit out of the robber. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember the pictures?
Yeah.
So she's tough as hell.
She doesn't look like a mean badass, but that went viral, I guess, when she did that.
It was massive. And frame-wise, she's not a big girl. Like, she's not a very thick, big girl, intimidating, but she's really tall, she's really long, and she's all around, like, dangerous and everywhere. In her last fight against Emily Whitmire, she was pounding her out with really good striking. Did she pull guard in that fight? I can't remember how she got the armbar. I think it might have been off a takedown, and she just snatched up a really good armbar really quickly in the first round. It was done in 2 minutes. Now, why is she the underdog? Before she fought Emily Whitmire, she dropped 3 fights in a row. She lost to J.J. Aldridge in 2018, Hannah Cifers in 2019, and Veronica Macedo in 2019. So this is why I'm guessing she's the underdog. She's lost 3 of her last 4 fights, right? But against Mallory Martin, from what I saw in Mallory Martin's last fight against Hannah Cifers, she got dropped bad. She got some chin problems. She's lost to Macy Barber before in the past, too. She's by no means a can, and she's by no means an easy fight. But I think our users are going with Polyana because they see a clear path to victory, skill set for skill set against each other. So in this fight, we're going with Polyana, and I'm predicting a submission victory from her. She's got a lot of subs in her career. She's got a couple of TKOs, but she's a finisher, and I think she'll pull it off by submission. Probably, again, in the second round.
That's 2 finishes in women's fights you're predicting. Bold.
I know it's rare, but from everything I can tell with Macy's a finisher. I don't know how many of her wins have been finishes. I know it's high. I think she's had 1 decision in all of her 9 fights, so I expect her to finish. Polyana, I know it's a bit of a stretch, but I think she's a good striking finisher, and based on what I saw of Mallory in her last fight, she's susceptible to getting knocked out. And I'm willing to bet that Polyana hurts her and then taps her out. So I know 2 submission victories, 2 women's flyweight fights. It's risky, but I'm going with it.
Cool.
Cool.
What's the last fight we're highlighting?
So the last fight we're highlighting is actually something a bit different. I am calling. So we're talking about Kelvin Gastelum and Ian Heinisch. Kelvin Gastelum is a minus 235 for this fight, and Ian Heinisch is plus 185. Now I'm calling this my value pick of the night. This has the most upswing, I think. When we look at Kelvin Gastelum has lost 4 of his last 6 fights. Now, those fights have been obviously very tough fights. He's lost to Chris Weidman, he's lost to Israel Adesanya, Darren Till, and Jack Hermanson. Since 2017, the only people Kelvin Gastelum has beat are Michael Bisping and Jacare. Now,
Bisping had one eye in that fight, didn't he?
Yeah, Bisping had a messed up eye, and he just came in right after losing to GSP by, I think he choked him out rear naked, but after dropping him with that left hook.
Yes.
So he beat Bisping in Bisping's last fight after Bisping had already been finished earlier. From what I see, Kelvin Gastelum is on a massive skid, and he's being given Ian Heinisch as sort of a make it or break it sort of fight. Right. Ian Heinisch is by no means like a world beater, but he's definitely serviceable. He's never been KO'd. He's been tapped out once back in 2017 in LFA, but since then, the only thing he's ever lost are decisions. One to Derek Brunson and one to Omari Akhmedov. So this is kind of like the litmus test for Kelvin. And I really think, I know I got it written here, he gave his soul versus Adesanya, but he really did, I think, gave the best performance of his career and also lost a lot. We've seen times where fighters have these epic wars, they put on their best performances, and then everything after that is going to be kind of a step down. Maybe they put all their energy, all their focus, all their training into that last fight, especially because it was a title fight, and that sort of enthusiasm, that effort kind of just wanes. It just slides off a little bit. And, I don't think I'm sure it's very rare that we see fighters go on a 4-fight losing streak in the UFC, but that's what I'm expecting with this fight. And that's why I'm picking Ian Heinisch as my dog of the night. And I'm picking Ian Heinisch to take this win by decision. A hard-fought decision. I bet he drops the first round and Kelvin hits him with some good shit. But I'm willing to bet that he beats him out with activity, aggression, octagon control, a lot of cage wrestling, and then if he gets on top of Kelvin, he'll probably stall it out and work very hard, diligently, and earn a solid decision victory.
And what becomes of Kelvin with a 4-fight losing streak?
I mean, Kelvin will probably contract over, make his way to PFL or Bellator, bare knuckle. Shit, give me Kelvin and bare knuckle.
Yeah, fuck, that would be good.
That would be great. But yeah, man, those are our 3 underdogs of UFC 258. Those are the ones I'm looking at. Those are the guys I have my eyes on.
Do we have numbers on this fight? What is our user base picking in this fight?
In this fight, so this I think is a good pick to sweep the app. I think a lot of people, if they go with Heinisch for this one and he pulls through, which I think he will.
Oh, shit. Only 79% of people are picking Gastelum.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
You've sold me. I'm changing my pick.
I'm going with Heinisch. I think he takes it. I think Gastelum drops his 4th fight and then moves on to something else. Yeah, those are our. That's pretty much it for UFC 258. Those are the fights that I think I want to highlight. The picks I want to highlight. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. How about we pull up the leaderboard for the MMA Twitter group?
Definitely. Let me grab it right now.
So while you're doing that, in January, let me just check. We had Tristan is the man came in and blitzed us in the last card. I think he just made picks for 1 card, but they were really good picks, and he ended up winning January.
Yes. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, he made 5 picks. He went 4-on-1. He picked the right method of victory, I think, and he went 905 against Vegas in January.
Solid. We're gonna shout him out in this. Yeah, Tristan is the man. Truly is the man. He's running MMA Twitter now, and he's holding the belt for January. But crawling up his butt really quick is Gio Carvelli 999. Currently number one in the rankings with 1,075 over Vegas, and that's over just the last two cards, right? That's over Alistair Overeem and Volkov, and the ONE FC card from last week.
Yeah, we had BKFC as well.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so BKFC. Yeah. So over three events, currently leading the leaderboard is Gio Carvelli 999. Underneath him is Ashwad, and coming in third place is Gem 779. Gem, if you're watching this, profile pic now. So yeah, the leaderboard is shaping up pretty strong right now. Gio's got a solid lead. He's got nearly double the lead on Ashwad, but you know how it is with us. One event can sink you. One event can make you. You can be at the top of the leaderboard pretty quickly. So yeah, it'll be fun to see what shakes out of this card.
Yep, yeah. And that brings us halfway through the month. Can't remember how many extra cards there are for the end of the month, but there's quite a lot of action coming up.
Got a busy month. Got a few more UFC cards ahead of us. Definitely one FC card. And who knows? We might be bringing KSW into the fold. Maybe
Bellator. Yeah, we're gonna add Bellator. I think they just announced their next event. Was it April? Did I get that right?
April. That's right. I can't remember what day.
Cool. All right. Thanks for that, dude. I guess let's make your picks and enjoy the fights.
Yeah. Oh, quick call to action. Okay. So if you don't have it already, download the Fanatics Fantasy MMA app, now available on iOS and Android. One-click download, join a public group, join a private group, make your picks, show us your fight IQ, who you got, Fanatics MMA, check yourself before you wreck yourself, big dicks in your ass, or bad for your health. Shout out to Joey Diaz. But yeah, that's it for us.
All right.
I hit him with that outro.
Yeah, let's cut the big dicks in the ass bit out.
All right.
All right.
Huh?
Cool.
Still here?
20 minutes.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I think we just got to cut out the big dicks in your ass part, and that's it.
Yeah. Or should we just leave it?
I think we should leave it.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, let's just trim at the start and the end and then chuck it up.
Done.